you know. And like I said, man, I mean, you know, I ain't come from no supportive family, like, you know, so it was 3 times harder for me because my adopted family, they didn't believe in dreams or entrepreneurship or nothing like that. So it was 10 times harder for me because the people that was around me was saying,
you got 25 cents.
People around me was like, we don't believe in that business shit. You know, you wasting your time, go get a real job. Man. So it was 10 times harder for me because not only did I not have a real family, but I didn't even have a supportive adopted family. So, you know, I always had to show and prove on my own, use my own money, you know, like, you know, and then, you know, a lot of people be like, once you just need to get over being adopted, but getting over being adopted is like getting over being short or getting over being black. You know, it's something you're going to live with forever, you know, but somehow in America, we allow people who haven't experienced what others have experienced to become professors or, you know, professionals. You know, I don't think a person who has never used drugs can possibly be a professional about drugs. There's just, I mean, you might can acquire the knowledge, but you cannot acquire the experience. Like, you would never know how a heroin addict feels. I don't care how many, you get the tremors like this and you feel like you got the flu times 10. Like, you only know what you reading. If you ain't never had the flu times 10, if you ain't never kicked no dope habit, man, how can you tell any heroin addict, well, I don't know why you keep using? Do you know how sick that dude is? You know how sick heroin make you? I done sniffed that shit for 18 years straight. You know how sick that shit make you feel when you ain't got it? Do you know how bad it make you want to go out here and take anything, rob anybody, do anything to anybody just to stay on the streets, to be able to get that shit? Like, and see, a lot of people like, man, I can't understand him, and, you know, he an addict, and it's because you ain't never been no addict. You can't understand no thief because you ain't never had to steal to survive. You know, you can't understand a motherfucker. I don't know why he drive with no license. Well, the man ain't got no options. Might not be no jobs where he live at. Might not be no way for him to get no money, period, where he live at. He got to drive. Or starve, what he gonna do if he don't drive? You ain't gonna give him nothing to eat. You know, I done been in all them situations, man. So, you know, it's a different, I look from a different vantage point. You know what I mean? Like, other than the so-called perfect person, you know, I can have sympathy and empathy when it comes to drugs, adoption, abuse, verbal abuse, non-support, you know, and all that. And I do the opposite. The way I was treated, I treat people the opposite. You know, like, I don't disrespect folk, and I ain't hating on people, and I ain't finna do that shit. Now, if you cross my path and you come at me, absolutely I got ammunition for anybody, but that's not my aim. I don't want to argue. I don't want to, you know, be angry and mad, and that shit fuck your body up, man. When I get around people that are very angry and nasty, I can see why, because their anger and their hatred to me makes me so mad. Well, my heart is hurting because I don't want to be around this fool. And I'm like, if his hatred has just jumped into my body for 10 minutes and my heart hurt, I see why that motherfucker's so sick. You feel me? That's that hate causing that sickness, man. That's that hate, man. That's that disrespect. That's that envy. That's that jealousy. That's all that shit bottled up in your body, and your body's storing it. You can't get rid of it because you just hate somebody so much because they won't be like you, and you gonna keep that hate. And even if you got good insurance and God look out for you and you live long, you gonna have a very, very, very miserable life. Man, you should see them people, man, that be around me and be like, ones of this and ones of that. And I'd be like, bro, you can't disrespect me. You can't disrespect me at all. You know, people like, you need to listen to me. Bro, for what? I'm not listening to nobody but God. And if you are uneducated, I definitely ain't listening to you. You know, especially the older people, like in their 70s. Bro, they don't know shit about the internet. You know, all them told me Facebook was the devil and YouTube would never work. They said, nobody will ever watch you on YouTube. Well, as you can see, if you look at the bottom of this page, if you click my link and hit about, I'm going to hit 1 million views again, probably today. So, why would I listen to somebody who is a nobody? Like, don't make sense to me. You're a nobody telling somebody how they can't be a somebody. That's control, man. That's a form of abuse. That's hatred. You ain't got to live your life like that, man. Man, I tell you what, I could have stayed in Verona, been a slave to them, and lived in there, and probably wouldn't have had no car, because they not those type of parents like, you know what, we're gonna help you get on your feet. No, they give you a car knowing you ain't got no license. What type of shit is that? Yeah, why you get pulled with fake tags? Fuck, I'm gonna register a car with no license. I don't know, do it on your own, you know. I just don't understand like the motive behind people like that, but I look at their energy and I look at how negative and nasty, how angry they are all the time. And that's why they don't produce. Only thing these people do is control. They work that. Now what they can do is play a role. People like that, they can go to a job and play a role for 30 years, get a check, you know what I mean, and you know, maneuver through life. But what does it profit a man to live a life that ain't fulfilled by his God-given purpose? Like, you know, they'll tell you, they'll pick their own field or choice of what they wanted to do with their lives. But then they'll tell you, you gotta do this, or we ain't gonna support it. So that means you wanna run 100% of your life and 50% of mine. For what though? What personal, I have to live my life. I have to live this life. What personal gratification would I get out of being something you want me to be when I'm not interested? You know, my adopted dad. Well, you just become interested. You learn to like it. How do you learn to like something that's just not, you know, that's just like some slave shit. You know, people excel at what they like. That's why when you go to a company, they ask you questions and see where your strong points are. If you're a janitor, they're not going to put you in accounting. It doesn't make sense. If you're a painter, they're not going to put you with the electricians. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. That's why the black man has it so rough, because other religions, not religion, other races empower their people. You don't see the Indians calling each other bitches and hoes, and you don't see the Chinese people doing that. They bring their family in, calling them bitches and hoes, and telling them go work for other people. They be like, no, you ain't gonna work, no, you can work here. And you can take this business and build on something else, but you're not going to work for nobody else. As with the black people, they like, we ain't investing in that shit. We don't believe, we're not investing in your new invention. For what? You going to work. My people told me, you gonna struggle like we struggle. We ain't gonna give you shit. I mean, people that died and left me shit in that family, and my adopted people that straight stole it or let somebody else steal it. I mean, just out of pure hatred. Pure hatred. But see, God, well, listen. Regardless of what they say or what they do, God sees all, man. And one thing I ain't gonna do, I don't care how broke I get, how rich I get, I'm not gonna associate myself with no losers or no haters. Straight up. You start talking that negative shit around me, bro, I am gone. Only thing I want to talk about is, I'll talk about my past, and I'll talk about, you know, the truth. Blacks don't support blacks. It's the truth. You know, until black people can support black people, man, black people talking about other people don't make Don't even make sense. You know, it'd be like, man, white man this, white man that. The white man is supporting the white man. The white woman is supporting the white woman. They are doing what they are supposed to do. You're focusing on them when you should be focusing on how to help your people. Not saying we can't all help each